In this video, I'm going to produce a roadmap document for learning Python for beginners. You can see I've put in this prompt which says, I'm a complete beginner. Give me a structured, beginner-friendly roadmap to learning Python. I will now click here and we'll see what's produced by Copilot. I will now click here where it says, Keep it. I've scrolled to the top of the document and now I'm going to get Word to read the first part of the document for me.
Python Learning Roadmap for Complete Beginners. A structured guide to starting your coding journey. If you're a complete beginner, this roadmap will guide you, step by step, through the essentials, providing a clear structure for your learning and practical milestones to keep you motivated.
I've scrolled further down the document and you can see it's talking about phase 1, setting up and getting comfortable. And here it's referring to step 1, the installation of Python. And here it's informing you of the steps necessary when you install Python. It comes down here and talks about you choosing an editor for Python, and it gives you suggestions here. If I scroll down a little bit further, you can see it's advising you to explore online resources, which are very useful when you're learning to code in the Python programming language, and there are lots of resources out there. We can now move forward to learning aspects of the language itself, and you can see here it is saying step 4, master fundamental concepts. And the first bullet point is talking about variables, data types. You learn about strings, integer, float, and booleans. And I agree with this recommendation. You need to look at that first. Then here we look at operators, which means we'll be looking at arithmetic operators, addition, subtraction, etc. Comparison operators, this is where you're asking whether one value is bigger than another value, and logical operators such as and, ors, and nots. And this bullet point is referring to the input to programs and the output from programs, and it is recommended you get to grips with the input and print functions to allow you to interact with whoever is using the code that you write. And in the beginning of your studies, of course, the user will be you. You will act as both the programmer, the person writing the code, and then running the code, where you'll become the user. And also it talks about writing comments to explain your code. When you write a line of code, it's a good idea right at the very beginning of your coding to write comments in, and comments usually have to start with this symbol here. The next recommendation is shown in step 5, and it's on control flow. If we look at the first bullet point, this is where we are looking at conditional statements to which there will be a true or false answer. And if it's true, you will execute one part of the program, and if it is false, you will execute a different part of the program. And constructs that support that is the if statement. For example, here the second bullet point is talking about loops. This is where we have a section of code that's executed over and over again a certain number of times. And this is the next thing that I would personally go on to after we've looked at selection constructs. And here where it says understand, break, and continue, that's something I would do, but I wouldn't do that immediately after I've done conditional statements and loops. I would come back to that, but that's just personal preference. Then you can see here it talks about data structures. And within Python, the data structure you have are lists, dictionaries, tuples, sets. Now, if you're a beginner, I would recommend you just went with lists in Python and come back to look at dictionaries, tuples, and sets at a later date. So whereas doing data structures, I believe it is important after you've done control flow, I wouldn't do all the types immediately if you're a beginner. I would, however, agree with step 7, where you write your own functions. Now, I won't go and look at the rest of the document, but I am relatively impressed with what it's shown so far for the first 7 steps. That is more or less the way in which I've taught people programming over the years. And the sequence that you've seen here is a sequence of steps that I personally would follow when I develop any curriculum to teach beginners. If you want to see the types of things that will come next, then I recommend that you use the prompt that I've used in this video. To make life easier for you, I will put the prompt in the description of this video on YouTube. You will also find in the description a link to a page on the supporting website where you will find a PDF version of the Word document that was created from the prompt that was used in this video.